Hi. So day two of the Lord's test is over, and just like the day one, there can be so many pundits, so many experts, so many analysts who can come on board and try to make their assessment saying England is ahead or India is ahead or it is England 55, India 45 or India 55, England 45. But the fact remains is like that just like at the end of the day one, what people had done their analysis and how they fell on their face on the at different position of the second day, the same thing can be there on the third day because nothing is crystal clear at the end of day two. At every junction, at every hour, the game has shifted its momentum. It has switched the momentum just like the momentum has switched just like the pendulum from one end to another. At one point it was England, at another point it was India. So it has been really topsy-turvy of a day, and no way you can make out how this game is going to play out. Maybe by the second half of the day or maybe by the afternoon of tomorrow it would give some clear indication of where the match is heading. But then at the end of today I would again say that it is evenly matched. It is still 50-50, though on paper it looks England might be just a margin or an inch away ahead of India based on current status of the game. But then anything can happen, and we have to look back at the day two to find out that that's very much possible. Let's start the day two. The day two started with England at 251 for 4, and many pundits had told that England was at a clear advantage because they were set to reach 400 on a pitch like that. 400 means it's a winning total because India would be struggling to bat second and then chasing a target total of 400 on their head with the seam attack headed by Jofra Archer and Works and Cars and Stokes. It would be tough. But then everything changed within 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, when Bumrah took those 3 wickets to reduce England to 271 for 7, it looked they would struggle to even reach 300, and which they should have actually. They should have really struggled to reach 300. They could have been dismissed for 290 or 285 had Rahul held on to that catch from Jamie Smith of Siraj. But then, like how it had happened in the first test, again a crucial catch was dropped by Rahul, and then Jamie Smith showed what a great talent he is, and his second test exploits were not just fluke. He continued from there where he had ended in the second test, and he played a superb innings of 55 51 to give a kind of solidity and stability to the innings. And in Braden Cars he found a fantastic able partner from a lower middle order, or in fact from a lower in fact from the tail actually, who was there ready to give him the company and give him the confidence to stitch a great partnership. And they added a superb partnership for more than 80 runs and took the total past 350. And then it started looking again, the game has shifted momentum and the game was tilting towards England. So the game, which was clearly in India's grasp after 20 minutes in the second day, once again took a jump to England's half in the towards the end of the first session. And again at the beginning of the second session, when Jamie Smith was out, it again looked that India was back in the match. But then again Cars went on to play a fantastic knock of 56, and then he got some good support with the last two pairs to add some useful runs and ended the match innings at 387. And yes, at 387 it looked a very strange kind of total for India, because from India's perspective, having reduced England to 271 for 7 at one stage and with the catch being dropped, I think India felt that they have given England 75 runs too much or too more, or too many of a runs of 75, because they should have reduced India to around 315, 320. Whereas from England's perspective, considering they were at one stage 251 for 4 with Joe Root at 99 not out, and then the other end Stokes playing a really matured innings and a very smart innings of around 39, they looked at the status there and they would have thought 387 was around 45 to 50 runs too less, because they would have expected that they had the potential to reach 425, 430 if they could have batted with the same kind of care and with same kind of strategy like they had done in the first day, if they could have just prolonged the innings a little bit and negotiated the new ball attack, and they would not have lost wickets, then they could have actually enjoyed playing in the second half or the second session, and then they could have taken the innings clearly to a score of 425, and that could have put them in really in a driver's seat. So yes, 387 was neither India's score nor England's score. It was a middling kind of a score, so it was impossible to tell which team had the better hand or which team was the favorite, or whether India was happy with 387 or England was happy with 387. Nobody could say. And when the the India's innings started, then Jofra Archer came to deliver that killing blow by dismissing the danger man, the man who could really accelerate the innings and put the run rate in such a healthy position to put the pressure on India. Yashasvi Jaiswal so early in his first over, and then he really put the blocks on India's innings and then put India on a back foot. And from then onwards, India had to play a little carefully. And then at the end of the day, India lost 2 more wickets. They lost Karun Nair, who played again a good innings of 40, but again once again lost an opportunity to seal his position in the team by scoring a big 50 or 100. So in spite of his all a good application and his real perseverance, he lost his wicket at a wrong time at 40. And then after that, Subman Gill had a uncharacteristic early dismissal, and then he lost his wicket. So India was reduced to 3 down for a very low score. But then somehow Rishabh Pant came and stabilized the innings, and Rahul has been playing brilliantly. He's 50 plus not out, and one can expect that he should actually apply himself and really score big. And if he stays and scores just like Joe Root kind of an innings, then the other batters around him can really apply themselves and they can have the confidence to contribute. And then with the kind of the lower middle order and the bowling all-rounders in Jadeja and Nitish Kumar Reddy and also Washington Sundar there, India can really mount a good comeback, and then India can not only match England's score, they can even go past them. So all will depend on the first hour in the day tomorrow, and it will depend how Rahul and Rishabh Pant negotiate the bowling, the rejuvenated fresh bowling of Jofra Archer, Wokes and Cars and Stokes. If they can manage that first 1 hour without losing a wicket, then they can again snatch the initiative back with them, and then they can go on to dictate the terms on the third day. But if they don't, if they lose a couple of wickets early in the first hour, then England can really grab the initiative, and then they can dictate the terms. So the first session will be very crucial tomorrow, and by the second session we'll be knowing which way the game is finally tilting. So for that we have to wait till tomorrow. Thank you.